And on the outside, it's just so hard for people to break through. And there's just this wall. And our goal is just to demystify that.
Is how to get featured on TV with Dayvee Sutton. So thank you for coming today. Thanks for joining yet another webinar. For you who are new, this is the Black Travel Alliance. We do free webinars because we're here to try and educate and elevate Black travel content creators. A little bit about BTA. We were formed in the summer of 2020. And our main reason for forming was to try and get some diversity in the travel industry. We noticed that obviously there is not enough diversity in the travel industry, particularly for Black travel content creators to get opportunities. We also wanted to try and get a membership directory of Black travel content creators, again, just to get more opportunities for all of us in the travel industry. Also to provide education, resources, opportunities for Black travel content creators. And that's everyone from bloggers, vloggers, journalists, everyone basically. So we do have that membership directory. If you're not a member of Black Travel Alliance, please go to our website. It's blacktravelalliance.org. It's free to join. Sign up. You'll get our newsletters. That's the best way to keep in touch with everything we're doing. I had our first live event last month in New Orleans at Wonderful. But we also provide information on job opportunities. We've given out scholarships to travel conferences. TBEX is coming up. We gave out scholarships for that. So the newsletter is the best way to stay on top of everything. Of course, you can follow us on social media, on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. So please keep up with us because we do a lot. And you can also find replays of these webinars on YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel, and we will send a replay of this to everyone who's registered. So if you have to leave early or if you come on late, don't worry about it. We will send the replay and it'll be posted on our YouTube channel. So today we have Dayvee Sutton. We're really excited to have her. She is an Emmy Award-winning TV journalist, lifestyle, travel expert. She's been on every channel known to man, like CNN, everywhere, Dr. Oz. She also has her own media company, Dream Network Media. So she produces content for businesses and brands. She's just awesome. So if you've ever thought about incorporating TV into your brand to reach a larger audience, this is who you want to pay attention to. This is who you want to talk to. So I'm excited to have Dayvee Sutton join us today and give us some information. So we're going to add Dayvee to the program right now.
Hi, friends. Thank you, Dr. Nadine. This group is so special to me because I am a part of this group. So I'm so happy to my people here. And I hope you find a lot of value in what we're going to talk about. And if we're ready, Dr. Nadine, then I can jump right into it because we have lots of juicy stuff to get into today. And we want to make the most of that time.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I will mute and come off screen and have you start your show.
Okay, I'm going to share part of my screen so you guys can follow along in some slides. So stand by for that. I hope you can see. Yep, it adjusted. So let's get going. So I just want to give you an overview of what to expect during this chat. We are going to talk about why TV should be a part of your marketing strategy as content creators and entrepreneurs, essentially. The biggest challenges to getting your foot in the door, some simple solutions. Of course, we're going to give you some solutions to help you set up a strategy so that you can actually be inspired to start right now today. And then we'll have some time at the end for some Q&A. And right now, I want you to start thinking about some of those questions you might have and pop them in the chat, and Dr. Nadine will help me monitor those, and we'll get to those right away so that we can get as much as we can into this talk that we have today. So the first thing, I do want to take a little poll. I don't know if we can do that. If not, we'll just do a yes or no. Are you thinking about TV as part of your marketing strategy? So have you thought of that before, or has it been something that you were like, oh, not me, or that's for somebody else, or you've always wanted to do it? I just kind of like to get a sense of where you are, where you thought of this, where we're all starting. And I'm sure people are starting at different levels. Somebody may have already had an appearance and wants to learn how to do repeat appearances. So pop in the chat. I want this to be like an engaged conversation so that I can fill in the blanks for some of the questions that you have. I know so many people question, first of all, if you haven't thought about TV as a marketing strategy, is TV even relevant anymore, especially in the age of streaming channels and YouTube and social media, smartphones? Is it antiquated? Is it outdated? Well, I will argue, don't be fooled. TV is still king, and it still has the widest reach and the biggest net. I always like to think of it as a web, and I'll start unpacking that in a little bit. They have the most money to spend, and thanks to the legacy networks, those legacy networks are the ones that you see over the air where you don't need cable for. That's NBC, that's ABC, and even now considered some of the cable networks like CNN. The legacy networks, they have the most money, and therefore it's the most impactful way that people are seen, and the quickest way too. So we don't have time today to go into this part where sometimes I talk about breaking down the stats of who's watching TV, the ad spend, and how that can relate to your appearance on TV today. But rather, I want to focus on that so many people say that don't watch TV. And you might be one of those people that I don't even watch TV. And arguably, a lot of times I don't watch actual TV. But even if that's true, things that happen on TV, those clips make their way to worldwide audiences somehow, some way. And we know the main way is via social media. The perfect example is the slap that we just finished talking about, and we're all so grateful that we're not talking about that famous slap with Will Smith and Chris Rock. So I apologize for bringing that up again, but some people were watching that live, but almost immediately it spread across all platforms and had a viral, instant impact, and that was something that happened on TV. So also another thing to note is that TV is truly the cheapest and quickest place to get out a major brand message, especially considering the millions of households they reach each program. So a thing about TV, it has the largest reach. It's layered, it's substantial, it's evergreen. So I said this before, it's like a web. And for a lot of you guys are content creator, it's the biggest byline. So on the TV station's website, bloggers are familiar with the value of links appearing on different websites. So when you make an appearance on TV, they put those clips on their own station's website, and I will unpack some of like that impact a little bit in a little bit. But you also if you think about when people appear on TV, it gives your brand almost, or your person as an expert, instant credibility. And it gives you, with that, it gives you an edge over your competitors. And you can also add the as seen on TV space to your website or social media, right? Like I've seen people who have had appearances on their Instagram, and on the highlights part have it like a whole TV section or press section. And that's when that, especially you content creators, that is something that is very searchable and will have a long lasting impact beyond your social media. And think about the professionals and services that you always see on TV in your local area. Sometimes they have these cheesy commercials with jingles, and most of the time you don't need a lawyer. But if you're in a car accident and suddenly need one, you may likely get a call from that guy on TV. So in the Atlanta area where I live,
business. Call 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Gary Martin Hayes and Associates.
This guy is pretty famous. And it's so funny because I was like, let me find the cheesiest thing that just comes on in the background all the time. It even comes on radio. But this guy actually started as a TV expert for the Fox 5 station, and now he spends part of his marketing budget for his business, his law firm, to advertise not only in commercials, but they have a Sunday morning program. He bought some time on TV, and they do a Sunday morning program where they go out and do investigations, and it's all for the purpose, the call to action for people to remember him. And as a guy on TV, no matter how they get there, as long as you remember. So that is kind of gives him instant credibility. Another benefit of being on TV, it's free unless you do kind of like a branded segment or paid marketing, the way that example that I just gave, but it's free marketing for your brand and business every time you make an appearance. So one of the things that you're taught when you're building a business is diversifying your marketing efforts, and TV should certainly be added to that list. And we're going to talk about how you can actually make that happen. So if it's free marketing, then that is a jackpot every time you make an appearance. And the other thing, which is great, and a lot of you content creators who work with brands understand how to deliver return on investment and how to prove return on investment. Well, it's like instant return on investment. As soon as you get on off air, there will be people in your inbox, in your DMs, in your emails, saying that they saw you on this show, and there are oftentimes an extra opportunity for you because you built the credibility and you were on this particular show. And this works for local in particular and national. And we'll talk about a little bit of the difference of that later. But arguably, it's even more trackable than social media, because people, when they approach you, they literally say, I saw you on this show. Are you interested in partnering for this? Or we have this opportunity, or is there any opportunity for us to collaborate in a way that is mutually beneficial? The other thing, which I alluded to before, is that it's evergreen, because when they Google your name, that's included, which is cha-ching, free marketing. So like you appear on this show, the show puts it on television, and then they put it on their website. And then when your name is Googled, also comes up under that station's and that show's website too, because you appeared in the web copy, and you were on that show as an expert, or your business feature. And if you have a service business, or if you have a product business, all of that stuff will work to your good. And then the thing that I talked about, that web example, or that web metaphor, is that social media overflow is after the segment airs, they post it on social media. You will probably post it on social media to promote continued engagement, and it extends beyond the airing of the show. And so if you I always like to give this example, is that if something happens with your social media, like people's Instagram accounts are always getting blocked and stopped or taken from them, or they're down for a few days. If you lose all of your followers on social media, you still have access to an audience via broadcast television, via that evergreen link that is on the station that you appeared on as a guest, as an expert, as a guest co-host. There's so many opportunities. And speaking of opportunities there, I just want you to be inspired, because if you have tried this before and just kept hitting a brick wall or whatever, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of shows. Actually, on our Be On Air Academy, we have a TV market list for people to check out, so that you could see that there's so many opportunities, and TV in particular is a platform. And I want you to understand this. As a platform, TV is a platform that needs content every single day for every single show, and that could actually be you. So now let's go into some challenges that you are probably may anticipate, may have encountered already. And the question I have is, what do you think the biggest challenge is for getting on TV? If you can type that in the chat. And I don't know if I have access to see what's going on in the chat. Okay, there I see. I think I see it. Okay, yep, I see some activity. So, I don't see an activity. What would be the biggest challenge for you getting on TV? And typically, overwhelmingly, the answer is pitching. But I'm going to tell you right now, pitching is not your biggest challenge because you're not ready to pitch. Oh, yes, I went there because you haven't answered the main question, why you? Because you're cute and you are cute, that's not enough. Being cute can get someone's attention. That's usually not how the attention is got. The second challenge is that you haven't really nailed down your niche. For example, okay, so we have travel content creators here, but so what? What is your exact expertise, niche expertise? Like narrow it all the way down because yes, they have their slew of travel experts that they've probably used for years and years. And you need to go back to that question that we are asked from the first time we get an internship, from the first time we get a job, the why you question. And understanding your exact niche expertise within the travel space is going to help you reverse engineer this whole process. And in one of our free courses, we walk you through all the way, like niche expertise. We give you like a worksheet that makes it really easy. But the second challenge is, what is your goal for being a TV guest on TV? Like, why do you want to do it? Because you've always wanted to be on TV is a fine enough answer. But like I said, you want to reverse engineer why a producer would want to book you. And we'll go into some solutions right after we unpack some of these challenges. And then the other challenge that I've come across is that people say that I'm not the kind of person who gets asked to be a guest on TV shows. So I used to host a lifestyle and entertainment show. I hosted a couple of them, but the one that I remember that we had all kinds of guests, because remember, TV is a platform and needs content every single day, was I launched and for 4 years hosted a show in Charlotte called Charlotte Today. And it's one of your local lifestyle shows, and they're in every single market. And you could see that here in the top left corner, this guy is a magician. So we had a magician on the show. Of course, we know the fitness trainers, they can be booked, but the ones who would get our attention is somebody who was really targeted in what they had. We had this woman who was a mom and she was a fitness trainer. She initially got on our show because she said, I can show moms in 10 minutes how to fit in, fitness, around your big busy schedule. We also had a set that had a kitchen, and they when they built the kitchen, I think we had our kitchen sponsored by IKEA. So IKEA built the kitchen uh, uh, for our show for free, and we called it the IKEA kitchen. And actually, this was when I worked in this market, was my first introduction to brand partnerships and like the exchange that you can have to get something that you need, that might be costly, in exchange of naming it. So every single day when we went in, did our cooking segment, we called out the IKEA kitchen. But is that because we had that invested kitchen, every single day there was an opportunity to use it. And we actually had a hole in our rundown, in our show schedule, which is called a rundown, for a kitchen. So we, like, for a chef or somebody to cook something or bake something or demonstrate something. So we even had sommeliers come in. We had bartenders come in to show us cocktails, all the things that you can do in the kitchen. And then financial experts. There is a list. So to answer the question that there might not be a space for me on TV, or I'm not the person who gets asked to be a TV guest, anybody. We booked guests for almost every niche in any field, entertainment to medical to psychology. There can be an opportunity for you to be featured on TV. And small business owners with brick and mortar shops in a community, or services that directly support a local community, getting on your local station can be so powerful, because it's the easiest to leverage repeat appearances, because when we go into the solutions, we're going to talk about more about what a producer thinks about. So if we think about this chef example, that local restaurant or that local chef, or we even had personal chef, her own private business, and she catered, and she was on like one of our monthly, she came on every single month. Heidi Bellotto, I remember, and she would always bring us macarons just for the staff after. She would hand bake macarons and give it to us, and we would eat them after the show in our editorial meeting. But there is a space for you to drive and use your service to drive business from your appearance directly to whatever your call to action is, to whatever you ultimately want people to do. And that's one of the things you should think about as well. Okay. So the other challenge I saw somebody talk about is like not having access, right? I saw somebody like finding the content and delivering a good pitch. Access, the TV guardians. But the truth is, and I want to reiterate this so much, so that when you feel kind of frustrated, you have to realize that TV needs you. I repeat, TV needs you. They need your content, from the serious disciplines to your most unique hobby entertainment. So I have several shows that I'm a paid contributor or a guest contributor, and the difference is when someone is a contributor, they're paid, and then otherwise I'm just their go-to guest where I'm not paid. And I have several shows that I do that for, and I do because my background is in journalism, I do the range from the fun holiday travel segments to how to unpack the breaking news and what that means to you today. So like I had to do a couple of hits this morning because there was new overnight last night at the end of the day, things changed with TSA. It was like TSA just threw in their towel and was like, fine, whatever, you guys do whatever you want with the mask, right? So I kind of unpack what that means for the consumer, so I can work with breaking news. And so I get called upon to do some of those things as well. So the biggest challenge though, and I saw a couple of comments about this, is producers don't know you. They do not know you. That means they do not trust you. They may see you. You may even have a few that follow you on social media, but there is a lot of trust that we journalists put in the hands of you when we put you on TV. It's a big responsibility. We take it serious, and seriously, the worst thing is it's even a career killer if we have to do a retraction and correct incorrect information that we aired or we published. And I remember as a young journalist, a couple of times I would see this happen, and the whole newsroom would know that somebody said something incorrect on air, one of our guests, and we would have to do essentially like almost like a walk of shame. But it was the worst thing we would hear, all the way up to like executive level corporate, because one of the big conversations that we had during the previous administration was a term that us in the industry we hated, was the term fake news. And it entered the lexicon because there isn't actually such a thing as fake news. News by definition is just reporting the facts. So now that that is a thing, it is so frustrating. It makes my skin crawl. I hate that word, but it's a phrase that we have now because of the previous administration. But by definition, news is just reporting the facts. So I actually had I had a network booking producer that was supposed to send me a clip. I wanted her to go over like how many emails she gets a day, and who she books. But the bottom line, she had an emergency, so she didn't get to send that to me. So hopefully I'll be able to share some of that later with you all. But basically, it is about trust and relationships. So let's go over some solutions, what you can do now. And the biggest thing is to understand how to elevator pitch your niche. And of course, for you content creators, influencers, personalities, you should already have that down pat because you already worked worked through this process as you were building your brand. But don't be too kitschy and flowery with your titles and taglines. It could come off cheesy, and then producers will talk about you in the newsroom. Like, we literally will pass around and like stand up over the cubicle and say, oh my God, check out this cheese ball. But it sometimes works. And I want to give you an example of somebody who was really, really famous, who back in the day had a great tagline, and explain why that works. And then to somebody who you may know, but she is booked all the time. So this guy we know, Bill Nye, the Science Guy. But I want to share with you, this is Lynette Cox, the money coach. So what I will tell you, us in TV, we'd love to do an introduction. And coming up next, we have Bill Nye, the Science Guy. Or coming up next, it was just tax day yesterday. So this would have been a great, I bet you she made all the rounds on TV, or even the week before, what you need to know with your money. We have the money coach coming up. So I wanted to show you those examples, but also let you know it's not necessary for you to have your name plus a tagline. If there's one that just makes sense and it works, then go for it. But it is necessary for you to know the exact niche in your industry. And we also have, like I said, we have the free resource on the Be On Air Academy. We have a free mini course that will help you out with that. But once you have your niche nailed down, you can solidly respond to the why you question. And then once you're sure of those things, answer these questions. You want to take a screenshot when I'm finished with these, because this is what you will want. This is now you're going to kind of be in the phase to start formulating your general pitch. And there's a difference between a general pitch and a timely, seasonal, or even breaking news pitch. So answer this question: what value are you providing to the show's audience? What problem are you solving for them? And what specifically will they get out of it? I will tell you, this is what a producer will see when, like, will be trying to answer when they see your pitch. It's really not all about you. How are you going to serve their audience? Is it in it for them? Does it work for us? Is it timely? Is it work for our local community? Are you solving a problem? So when you're coming up with your general pitch, or even any pitch, make sure you're answering these questions, because the truth is, producers really do get hundreds of emails every day. But I will tell you something that you might not even realize. We look through all of them. We look through every single one of them. But you guys probably, the really successful content creators get lots of emails every single day. And you do that skim. Is it like you start with you click on it, or you even delete it from the subject line? How is that slugged? And then you might click on it, and then you just graze through it. So you can put together a succinct pitch that gets their attention, that answers these questions essentially. Then this is how you start to get their attention. The next thing you want to do is target a show you want to be on and build relationships. So here's where I talk about it's the long game. Nobody wants to be used. So go back to those networking skills that they taught you, that you learned along the way, whether you worked in corporate America or where you learned it in college, and try to build authentic relationships with journalists as people. And I know one of the questions that you'll have in the Q&A is how to do that. And you do this with the long game. So when you're coming up with your pitch, once you've done the work, the homework that I laid down, you know what the why you've elevator pitched your niche, you've come up with a general pitch to answer those three questions. You start doing the stalking thing, and you find the show you want to be on, target the show you want to be on, and you watch it. You watch for where there can be an opportunity for you to fit in. And this is important. It's the same thing that people tell writers to do when they're pitching to magazines. What are they talking about? Is this the show you want to be on? Are they just doing news, or do they just do news in the morning, and then at 11 a.m. they go into the fun stuff? Do you want to be on both shows? So how would you contribute to the news part of it? Because there are more than just opportunities. I laid out an example of the examples of going on the lifestyle shows, and those are the ones that you probably have the most opportunity to be on. But there's very much opportunity to be a soundbite, a go-to person in someone's, I want to, now I just dated myself. I did the whole Rolodex thing, but in somebody's call list when a reporter is working on a story. So every day, I bet you 100%, every single newsroom across the country, locally and nationally, there is a reporter talking about the new TSA, or the what changed with the mask mandate, not going forward any longer. And they will want, if you are on their list, they can call you to be a soundbite within their report. There are so many opportunities, but you build relationship. You start with building the relationships authentically. We also have a place where you can build relationships. This is actually my official invite for, let me go back. My official invite to for you guys to join our free Facebook group. It's called the TV Guest Expert Group. And so I think Nadine will put the link for you to join, but it's on the screen here. But I'm going to tell you this, and I'm very serious about this, because our moderators there's producers that are lurking in there, and then we also have call for guests, but only join if you're going to be active, because this is a group that is meant, that we're creating, that we're building to foster where you're going to feel comfortable, accept some of the challenges. We post strategically their little homework things. Every single post has an intention, whether it's a poll that might seem whimsical, or it might just be a tip that is there to prepare you. And some people don't participate. And I will tell you, one of our moderators once a month goes out and just clears people, because it's not a place for lurking. So if you accept this invite, we'll be happy to have you. But preparation plus opportunity equals success. That is something I learned from Oprah when I was a child. And this is literally the key that makes you feel ready. Because you will be ready when the call comes. And like I said, sometimes we drop in calls for guests. Like we have a producer that might say, or there's also producers in there as well, because we are building the resource for TV guest experts of all fields and all trades. You guys in particular are in travel, but we are inviting people from all fields, and in all trades, and whether, like I said, the whimsical stuff like the entertainers to the medical experts. And then the other solution is social proof. So when you finally pitch, 100% rest assured, the producers, the booking producers, the editorial producers, the assignment editors, they will Google you before you even leave their email. And you will be Googled. And it should be clear why they should pick you. So again, I know this is a great group that understands a lot of this talk for building up your brand and making sure that you have the social proof. You should have that down pat, because it's the same exact process that PR agencies use when they're looking for influencers for their brands. They Google family travel, and your SEO should be so good that it screams to the producer. In fact, they should have a little bit of anxiety that they are just now finding you, and that they need to contact you ASAP before you're swooped up by a competitor, because you are a star.
Oh my gosh, you shared so much information. Thank you so much. Do you want me to add the last link with the freebie?
Yeah, so we also we have a freebie too, like all of these resources. So there's so many, like we're building up this free catalog for people that are a part of our like community to have all of this information. And it's crazy, like Nadine, like when you're on the inside of industry, all of this stuff is just like easy peasy. But when we started talking to people who wanted to be on TV, it's just this weird wall of every single day. The conversation in the newsroom is what are we going to put on TV? And on the outside, it's just so hard for people to break through. And there's just this wall. And our goal is just to demystify that. And it's not necessarily that it will happen overnight for you, but there's a definite strategy to happen. And, you know, I bet you in this group, there's some super manifestors. So you might take this information and it will happen overnight for you. And I would not be surprised. But I want you to understand it's the long game. It takes some patience, but there's a strategy and it does literally work.
My goodness, Dayvee, this has been incredible. I know I'll be watching the replay. So Sharinda, the course that I just added the links, go up to beonair.net. That
the free mini course, the one that says that it's called the free mini course. What it takes, it's Be On Air. Here, let me put it. beonair.net. What it takes. That's the free mini course.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. Well, we have taken up over an hour of your time. I mean, this was amazing. Like I said, I know I'm going to have to watch a replay and join the group and sign up for the webinar because this was awesome. And I just want to, it was put in the comments. So we're still going to be, the platform is still going to be open for a little while. So if anyone wants to network with any of the other attendees, you can go to stage and then click join now, and you can shuffle around and meet with some of the other attendees. But I want to sincerely thank Dayvee for being here today, for sharing all this. Please follow her on Instagram. Please join Black Travel Alliance at blacktravelalliance.org. Sign up for our newsletter. Carmen just dropped the link there. And so thank you so much, Dayvee. Hopefully I'll be seeing you soon in the Facebook group and practicing.
Yes, and I'm so happy to share this with all of you, and I hope to meet more of you. Like I said, we are the same community. We are each other's people, and there is space for all of us. So, like, I think that's why I think another shout out to Black Travel Alliance is that
you
are trying to make people realize that there's not just like if you book one of us, that doesn't have to be the only one. We all have different voices and we all come from different backgrounds, and there's space for all of us. So like we are not each other's competition. We are each other's cheerleader. And even if there's only one space for one of us, and we can cheer that person on, because our time is coming. Your journey is your journey, and we can put out all of that good energy so that when it is your time, you can have a cheering section just the same as you're cheering for everybody else. So I always like to end my talks with, I can't wait to see you on TV. And so I'll see you over there in the group.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you guys for being here, for joining the webinar today. We'll see you at the next one. And thanks again, Dayvee. Have a great evening. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.